What is up, guys? It's Grant with E&G Studios. For this video, I wanted to talk about a PC build I recently completed. This build is ideal for beginners just getting into PC gaming. The price point for this build was about $450, and I actually came in a little under budget. The focus point of this PC is upgradability for the future. Back to upgradability later for the video. Let's talk about the parts. Alright, so starting off the build, we have the Ryzen 3 2200G, a 4-core, 4-thread processor, capable of some light 1080p gaming, which I picked up for $95 on Amazon. The CPU is actually an APU, which means it has built-in graphics, so we can save a little money by not buying a graphics card. Next, we have the Gigabyte B450 Aorus Pro Wi-Fi. Yes, for only $450, you can get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and some really nice RGB and a motherboard. I got a great deal on this motherboard on Black Friday and only paid $90 for it. For RAM, I chose a 2x4GB kit of G.Skill ripjaws memory rated at 3200 MHz. However, I ran into a few problems and issues with this kit, which I'll talk about a little later in the video. For storage, I got a 1TB WD hard drive and a 120GB SSD from Kingston for the operating system. Again, you can afford an SSD in a $450 gaming PC. The case I chose was the Phanteks P350x. The case truly looks stunning with the built-in RGB that connects up with the motherboard. Finally, for the last part of the build, we have the power supply. I went with the Corsair 550CXM. The power supply is a semi-modular unit capable of outputting 550 watts, which is way more than you'll ever need for an APU. However, this brings me to my next point. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I built this PC around upgradability. I did not cheap out on the power supply or the motherboard just in case I wanted to buy a GPU down the line. However, there are many ways you can make this build cheaper for yourself. For example, you could go for a cheaper motherboard, drop the SSD, or get a smaller power supply, and easily get the build under $400. Earlier in this video, I said that I had a few problems with the RAM kit. AMD uses the Infinity fabric, which utilizes RAM speed. That is the reason I chose to go with the 3200 MHz kit, as performance is directly influenced by RAM speed. The problem occurred when I tried to enable the 3200 MHz XMP profile, and the PC just kept crashing. Now, I can only run at 2066 MHz stable without crashes. Despite updating BIOS, drivers, everything I can do, I still cannot get it to run stable at 3200 MHz. But enough of the parts and stuff, let's talk about what you came here for, gaming benchmarks. I tested 3 games, Paladins, Rainbow Six Siege, and CSGO. Paladins, the minimum was 57 FPS, the maximum was 62, and the average was 60, non-overclocked. With a GPU overclock of 1600 MHz, frame rates increased dramatically. The overclocked average was 87.337 MHz. The minimum was 71, the max was 109. The next game I tested, Rainbow Six Siege. It was tested 1080p, all low settings. Oh, forgot to mention, Paladins was tested all high settings. Alright, Rainbow Six Siege, all low settings, non-overclocked results, average 45 FPS, minimum 38, and the max was 60. When I overclocked the GPU, I got to 53 FPS with a minimum of 41 and a max of 69. The final game I tested was CSGO. The test for CSGO was done on all high settings on 1080p. Non-overclocked results were average at 58 FPS, a minimum of 39, and a max of 73. When I overclocked it, the results were 65 FPS for the average, the minimum was 41, and the max was 119. So my final thoughts for the build. I'm extremely satisfied with this build for $450. Like I said earlier, this build is ideal for beginners just getting into gaming. Most of the titles I tested all averaged right around 60 FPS, maybe a little less for Rainbow Six Siege, but later down the line, BIOS updates and newer drivers will fix the RAM issue, and you can expect huge improvements in performance. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We look forward to putting out more PC content, so make sure you hit that bell icon to stay tuned. Thanks for watching.